Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of 1110 Belt. We're still over here on the 392 Hemi. Got to get the crank out of that thing, flip it over, work on deburring some of these old casting marks with the carbide burr, and then get everything ready. That way I can take it apart, take it up to the shop, get it in the CUDA, get it cleaned up, and I can get it honed out. I got new pistons coming from Modern Muscle Extreme, I believe the website is. That should be bumping up the compression ratio to about 12.1 to 1, I think is what it said on the website. I've got new gaskets, new bearings, pretty much most everything I need except for lifters, and I think that's really about it. So, thanks for joining me. Let's get into it. Alright, one thing I wanted to point out is because I am putting this newer gen 392 into my 08 charger, one thing I need to swap out is the tone wheel, because you can obviously see the teeth on this reluctor wheel versus the teeth on this reluctor wheel are very different. I'm not changing out the PCM, I'm not changing out the wiring or the sensors or anything like that. So the quickest, easiest, and cheapest thing to do is just to change out the tone wheel. Alright, so what the plan of attack here is, probably going to plan on replacing or blocking off all these oil squirters rather. For what I'm planning on doing, we won't be needing those. We're just go ahead and take out all these bearings, get sure we get our thrust bearings out. That doesn't look terrible. Yeah, honestly, that's really not that bad for a thrust bearing. And there goes that. We're just going to leave that little guy. Nope, we dropped something. Nope, we dropped something else. Alright, so like I said in the last video, what we're going to try and do here is go ahead and clean all these oil drain backs. Make sure all these casting marks are nice and smooth. That way, as we got as smooth oil return flow as possible. Go ahead and do that on both sides here, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, got one side done, and let me show you the difference here. You can see how everything's nice and smooth. Have as little resistance to drain back into the paint as possible. Compare that to before. It's all jagged and doesn't even look good. That's something I like to do to all my engine blocks. I did it again to the freaking LS that I put in the Chevy, and I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot more cleanup work on the LS than there was on the Dodge, or on the Chrysler, Hemi, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. Took maybe 5-10 minutes to do the one side, so I'm not gonna make you watch the second side, so I'm gonna get back at it. Alright, so at this point I got the block completely stripped down. I got all the MDS solenoids out, I got the oil squirters out. I got everything cleaned up to about where I'm going to leave it at this point. So yeah, the last thing I need to do is take it over to the shop, put it in the CUDA, have it cleaned, and then I'll bring it back. I'm going to hone the cylinders out, and then from there it's just going to start going back together. So, that's it for now. Alright, so it's a few days later. Got the block back from the shop. Got it all nice and cleaned up. Next thing I'm going to do is start masking it off. Make sure we got all of our surfaces here that we don't want to have a bunch of paint on. Make sure we get those covered up. The same thing on the back of the block, the front of the block, as well as obviously where the oil pan goes. I got some the MDS plugs in here right now just to make sure you don't get paint. I've got some new ones coming, so I'm not going to reuse those. And yeah, I got most of the stuff cleaned up. There's not really any dirt on it now. There's a little bit of a film from the cleaner that was in the CUDA. But other than that, I mean, I got all the dirt off, all the grime, all that stuff, and it's looking good to go. Once I get it done painting, then I'll start working on honing the cylinders out I've got a we call them dingle ball homes, but that's not it. Flex home. That's what it is. Regular ball home. Be using this guy. Knock all that off, put some new hatching in there, and then waiting for the new pistons to come in. So I'll put that on time lapse. You guys don't have to freaking sit there and watch that. And we'll be back in just a second. So I got the engine masked off. I did the cylinder heads and the front where the timing case is. I didn't do the bottom or the back because I mean nobody's gonna see it. And worst case scenario, just take a wire wheel to it, get it cleaned up. So what I ended up doing is I ran over to AutoZone and I got some of the Hemi orange high temp enamel. Hopefully this will work for what I'm doing. I'll probably give it 2 or 3 coats, let it dry, and we'll see what happens from there. But that's the plan. Alright, now that we got 2 coats of paint on the engine block, looking halfway decent, I do say so for myself. Other than all the pretty bad runs, which I don't know if you can see on there, but there's a few on there. I'm not going to worry about it. That's going to be in the engine bay. Ain't nobody going to notice. That'll just be our little secret. As far as what else I need to do to the engine block before I hone it out, I'm going to let the paint dry. Probably give it a day or so before I start working on that. Let all the paint or the acrylic enamel cure properly. One thing I want to do is, instead of getting the block offs for the oil squirters, what I've done is I've taken the stock oil squirters and I just snipped off the ends there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld up the hole here because there's a check valve in there. So I'm going to weld up that hole so it blocks that off, and I don't have to spend money on aluminum or whatever aftermarket oil squirters, because I mean honestly, why am I going to waste the money if I can make something work just like that? So what I'll do there, I'll probably just take the torch, burn off whatever oil's on there, set them up, put a quick tack in there, and then go ahead and install them, torque them in, and then probably just, like I said, wait probably till tomorrow to let the paint cure, and then I'll come back at it, and then tomorrow I'll hone the cylinders and we'll go from there. Alright. Not what I want that to do. Alright, so you see how I just plugged that right up. I ain't gonna let no oil pass now. There's 3 more to do. Alright, so now that I got the block painted, I went ahead and put the oil squirters back in. Those are done. So now the only thing said, like I said earlier, I'm going to wait until all the enamel dries before I start honing the cylinders. That way the oil from the hone doesn't affect the paint, discolor it, and all that stuff. Lessons learned from my previous one, which is what I put in the Chevy. Alright, so now what we're doing on here is the cam lockout kit. Got this one from Comp Cams. Comes with a little special tool that you got to put in there to actually disassemble this thing without completely whacking up the spring. Stick my pocket screwdriver in here, separate that just a little bit. That way that goes all the way down. That's nice and flush with the top of the cam phaser. And that's one of these, this one right here. Instructions say go there and then one more turn. Call that good enough. Alright, so go ahead and pull these apart. According to the instructions, you want to pull them all out except for this one. Make sure I'm reading that right. Yep. The one that's directly below where the cam guide pin goes. We're going to leave that one in. Just going to break it loose, but we're going to leave it in. Alright, so that's good there. Go ahead and pull the rest of these out. Now, that right there is going to be the longest one because that's the one that is lined up with this piece right here. So make sure that one goes back to where it came out of. The rest of these don't have that little extra nub there at the top. Alright, so now that we got that one in, just slide that over like that. This is our lockout device. It goes in between these vanes right here so that it can't adjust your cam timing, is what this is going in. We won't have that. So oh, put that in upside down. You see on here there's a milled out spot that's smooth. That's going to be able to fit that in there versus the other side, which is what I had up. It won't go in there. Significantly smaller, and it is tapered on the inside. So make sure we got that in correct. Now the instructions say just to freaking wind this thing down until it stops. Doesn't give you a specific torque spec. That's all we're going to do. And we'll need a ratchet for that. Alright, I feel comfortable with that. And let's go back together. Pretty plain and simple. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Remember that long one going to go back there next to that pin. Get it back, get the rest of these started. Get all these hand tight and we'll go back in and torque them down. This says 14 foot-pounds, but I'm not so sure about that. We'll see what happens. Alright, now that said 14 foot-pounds, but that seems a bit ridiculous to me. It's already started to strip out these little Torx bits, so went ahead and with the German spec Gutentite, we're going to call it a day. Go ahead and pull off this little freaking cap screw right here. Pull off this special tool. And our cam phaser locker is installed. So pretty much at this point, I'm calling it a night. It's the 4th of July. We're about to go cook some burgers and celebrate a little bit here. Gotten everything just about done. I've got it cleaned. I got it painted. I got the oil squirters blocked off. I got those put in. I've got the cam phaser delete in. I've got a new camshaft for it. I got head gaskets. I got pretty much all the other gaskets for it. Finally, those came in. Now I'm just waiting on the pistons come in, so I'll probably just do that on the next video. And yeah, so you guys have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all take care.